and welcome to this Wednesday upload. My name's Nicola if you're new here. If you're not, welcome back. So today's video is going to be all about New Year goals. So goals that I have for 2024. I don't tend to make New Year's resolutions because in my history they've been broken by the 2nd of January. So I try to make goals instead, and it works a lot better for me because it's not so much pressure. I think resolution is like you've got to do this thing, whereas goals is something that you want to try and achieve, but there's not as much pressure on you to do it. So anyway, without further ado, let's go to my first one. I've got it all on my phone in case you're wondering why I've got my phone with me. So the first one is I want to try and achieve a small walk each day. Now my hips over Christmas have been awful, my hips and my back, and they've kept me awake at night, and I think it's because we have sat so much during Christmas. There's been so much sitting, watching films, sitting, socialising, but just sitting, and my body doesn't do well with a lot of sitting. If I can get up and move around, it's not so bad, but too much and it's not good enough. So I have been trying, and I've been achieving it so far, of going maybe 2-5 minutes depending on what I can do and how I am that day. I've just been going either around where I live on the estate, or like if I have to go somewhere, so maybe I have to go to a shop, that is classed as my small walk because I'm walking around the shop. So I'm not doing 2 lots because I think that would just be too much for me. So that would be classed as my small walk. But it's very, very good to get yourself motivated and mobile as much as we possibly can. Obviously there's going to be days when I won't be able to do that if I'm poorly, if I'm having a fibro flare. But when I went on the pain management course, they still made me go for a small walk every day, even though I was on a flare. They still make you go, and I don't know why, but they just do. I suppose it's just to, you know, to stretch yourself, but if I have a bad flare I won't be able to go. So I will just not put the pressure on myself, but that's just one of the goals that I want to achieve this year, is to have a small walk each day, wherever it may be. Right, my second one is to cut back on alcohol. Now I've mentioned this before in my weeklies, where alcohol was starting to sort of slip into the week as well for both Mark and I, where we would have a glass to relax at night, or if I was feeling really, really bad, I'd say to Mark, I'm going to have a Kill or Cure wine, and 98% of the chance it cured it because it relaxes your body, but that's not a good thing to get into. So now we are strictly sticking to the weekends, and what I do have for during the week, which is really nice, is something called Clean Gin. It's by Clean Co. Yeah, Clean Co. Spencer Matthews runs it, and I have the rhubarb gin, which is alcohol free and very little calories, and I have that with the diet lemonade during the week if I want to drink during the week, and that does work. That just makes you feel like you're having something, but I'll also benefit from not having those calories. So yeah, it's just cutting back, not so much alcohol is one of my goals this year, and I know I'll be able to do that. I know I will. My third one is eat healthily most of the time, because I'm not going to say I'm going to eat healthily all of the time. That's impossible. You have to have treat days, you have to have times when you want to treat yourself, but the majority of the time I'm going to stick to my berries that I love, because I have to stick to a low FODMAP diet due to my severe IBS. So that means the main fruit I can have are berries. So raspberries and grapes I can have a small amount of. Raspberries, grapes and strawberries are usually the ones that I stick to, but strawberries are really expensive at the moment, so I'm just having some raspberries and grapes. But just trying to eat more mindfully My dad taught me this. He has been going to a diabetic clinic because he's pre-diabetic, and they told him that you must eat more mindfully. So like think about what you're eating and when you're eating it. And I said to him, now that's fine, but I have this issue. Now let me know in the comments below if anyone else has this issue. If I think too much about what I'm eating, I think about it being digested. I think about the food going down and going into my stomach, and it makes me feel physically sick, and then I can't actually eat the food. So I try not to think too much about what I'm eating, because otherwise that comes over me. So eat mindfully. I'm thinking more, what are you going to eat? Not when I'm putting it in my mouth, but what are you going to have for lunch? I don't tend to have breakfast. I tend to just have lunch and dinner, and try not to snack on bad things, you know, snack on fruit and things like that, rather than reaching for the biscuits and and bits and pieces. Okay, my fourth goal is to love myself more, because a lot of people say, right, my goal this year is to lose 3 stone, 2 stone, whatever you want to do in weight. I'm not going to put that pressure on myself, because every year I put that pressure on myself, and every year it doesn't happen, and it's disappointing. So I am going to just say to learn to love myself how I am a bit more, because when you learn to love yourself and how you look, then weight will start to fall off, because you're accepting how you are, and I'm being more mindful about what I'm eating, I'm cutting back on the alcohol, I'm walking a little bit more. All those things, like all those things together combined, will hopefully help me to lose weight. But in the meanwhile, I've got to love myself and who I am. So like, for example, instead of every time I look at my belly, I think, oh, I can't stand it. And I stop myself from thinking that. So every time I look at it now, I try to say thank you for holding my children for me, for growing my children, and thank you for letting me be able to eat food and drink. So that's the mindset change, if you can see where I'm going there. It's just little changes to your mindset and how you look into things. Right, my next one is continue looking for a job. So this week coming, I have 2 courses I'm doing, which are free. I think they're AOL courses, and they're from home, so I don't have to move. I just have to do it from the sofa. And they're both about getting back into work or finding the job that's right for you. I think they've got their work cut out with me. But I think it would be worth doing it just to see if I can look at something different, maybe, because my job's always been with childcare. I can't do that now because I'm not physically able to do all those things. It's a very sad feeling when I can't do that job anymore, but I've also learned to accept that to an extent and move on. But I don't know what to move on to. I keep looking at jobs from working from home, because that's probably what I'm going to have to do, but all the jobs working from home require experience, and even customer service, like answering the phone, that requires experience in customer service, which I haven't got. There's so many different things that are stopping me finding a job. So I'm doing these courses, like I say, next week, and we'll see if that helps. But all I've put here is not get a job, but continue looking for one. So I'm not putting my pressure on, you must get a job in 2024, because that's silly, you know. It's right, I'm going to continue looking for one and doing my best to find one that's right for me. Okay, my next goal, no, this isn't a goal. This is things we want to do, home improvements in 2024. So the first thing is in the garden. Now what I'm going to do is film for you, and I'll put a clip of it in here while I'm talking. So we're going to pave this area, which is near the water butt, and because where that is just dead space, and it would make so much more sense to be able to walk over it to get to the water butt. So we're just going to pave it and put some pots there, and that'll be much better. So that's the first job in the garden. The second job is to try and get electric to the bar in the garden, to put in a small fridge, because when we use the bar in the summer for like parties and friends coming over and whatever, it's very difficult because there's no fridge there, so you have to usually use a cool bag with ice blocks. But if we could just get some power there and a fridge, a little fridge, that would be perfect, so we can store like drinks and things in the bar fridge. So that's another thing. And then there's a pot in the front garden that I really need to sort out, but it's massive, it's huge, and it used to have an Acer in it, but unfortunately my Acer died and we cut it right down, as you can see. But I really want to get something nice in there, but it'll have to be quite a big plant, so that's something to look at. We had some garden vouchers for Christmas, so perhaps we can use that towards it. Okay, so going on to my bedroom, I need Mark to put up another shelf for more books, because my books are starting to overflow and I need more space. So as you can see from this clip, I am going to move the canvas from where it is to the other wall under the other bookcase, and put another bookshelf above this one where the canvas was. So that is the plan. You will see all this happening in the weekly, so don't worry if you think you're going to miss it, you won't. And then there's some little patches in the hall and the lounge that need touching up, the paint, because over Christmas we brought our spare chair in from the bedroom and it's made mark on the wall, and also in the hall it's done the same. So we need to touch those up at some point during the year. There isn't really a lot else we're going to do in the bungalow because we've decorated every room now, and it's just maintenance really. There's nothing major. I do want to change my bedroom curtains because I'll show you in a minute, but they come right down on the floor, and I know I could easily tack them up, but I want some new ones. I don't like them, so I want some different curtains, and I'm looking at going to Dunelm Mill because I think they have the different lengths in there. So I might look in there at some point this year for some new bedroom curtains. We also need to do the same in Holly's room because the rats ate her curtains. So she needs new curtains as well, and she also needs a new ceiling light because the ceiling light she's got in her bedroom is awful. It's just, it cuts you if you try and dust it, the duster gets stuck in it. It's just terrible. So we need to get a new light in there. But those are, at the moment, they're the main jobs in the bungalow. If others pop up during the year, then they pop up, but they're the main ones that we want to do. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what your goals are for 2024, and I will see you all on Saturday for the weekly. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.